Welcome back, everybody. Canadian Silver Saver here, and I am at I've gone out to storage because I want to do a little bit of a video to create a discussion, and rather than just be a bit of show and tell here, let's talk about why I have different pieces of silver, why I've picked them up, and let's go through a little bit of an adventure here on some of these monster boxes in my little treasure chest here. I apologize about lighting and sound. It's a little bit different because I am not in the same location. I've gone out to storage, put some things together, and then a little private place I'm going to do all this, and then these are going back into hiding. But I want to talk about why I have different things here. And this is just a quick snapshot of, obviously over the couple of years you've even seen on my channel many different items that are not in this video. But the idea is here just to speak to different pieces, and then of course without having to travel and pull everything out into one place. This gives a good kind of view of what has been added to the stack over the last decade and more. So it's come up a lot recently because of the market price, and I think that's really what inspired me to talk about this, plus a recent experience in my own life where I needed to use my investments to maintain life. Basically, I've had some ups and downs for sure this year, and this is here to provide a lot of happiness for me along when I'm collecting it. But there is an end game to this, whether it's when I'm old and retired or next week if something knock on wood doesn't come along and cause any problems. So I think a lot of us pick up lots of different things. So let's try to get in this here before I ramble on too much. But as you know, I'm a big fan of the poured silver. We'll show off some beaver bullion stuff here because he's my buddy. I'm going to be at the Paris Coin Show in August here, and if you're around the Paris Coin Show, come and see us. There'll be lots of cool items there from John, myself, and the company that I'm now affiliated with, and I'll let you know on that more as we get everything up and running. I'm basically full-time with this now, between my business and the company I'm affiliated with now. So it's pretty exciting to be able to do that in my life, but a lot of changes and a lot of taking some risks have happened to make sure that I get to where I want to be. And that's kind of what we do with this. We're buying metals because we're using it to hedge against problems, if there's when we talk about life risks and all that, I don't like having my money in a bank. I like having it in investments, and this is one of those investments. So, and poured silver that we're talking about this specifically here, and this is more like, this is my fun treasure chest box here, but a lot of these items have some meaning to them. Like this is my very first piece I ever poured. I showed that on my channel just over a year and a half ago, I think. It's just under an ounce because it splattered on me. But it's my first bar I ever poured, and I sold the rest of them, my buttons and all that, which is pretty exciting. But I keep that stuff. That's not going anywhere. But a lot of the stuff, it's generic silver. Like it's poured silver. It's just, I love the chunky rounds that he does in his Masterson name or in his Beaver Bullion brand as well. 1 ounce rounds are just great to put in a bag and kind of, fun to play with. But poured silver like this is not any different to me in the sense of what I will end up doing with it later than something like this. So here's a bag. This is a recent addition, so this is wanted to show something new. But I just picked up a bunch of 10 ounce rounds, or 1 ounce rounds, sorry, 10 1 ounce rounds. And the idea with these, these are just Sunshine Mint rounds, and a lot of people give Sunshine Mint a bit of a flack for being nothing exciting, but they're a pretty round. They're shiny. They've got a security element in them that you have to use a card over top to ensure that it's silver. So really, Sunshine Mint rounds, that's a really smart investment. They're low, usually very low to spot. Usually I can get them, they're better than maples and anything like that. They have the built-in security feature. So how do you lose with something like this that you can walk into any store and that's affiliated with buying precious metals, and they'll give you a great value for these. So something like this is the same to me as something like this. Now, why not just buy all of these or all of these? And I think a lot of us have that feeling that it gets boring after a while. I just don't want to have nothing but Sunshine Mint rounds or maples or whatever it may be in my stack. I want to have a nice variety. So when it comes down to generic silver that I'm going to end up just cashing in when I need to, or when I want to, that's what this stuff is going to be for, because there's no real attachment to it. Some of this is, like, this is Beaver Bullion's first one he ever made. It's actually what got me in touch with him. I don't want to ever sell that one. That's different. But, you know, I want to sell a nice big 10-ounce bar to somebody because, you know, whatever reason, then I've got the larger bars. I've got some of the fun stuff, like the bullets. I've got, you know, I've got the, I love my Libertads. I've got Libertads in that as well. But again, I have to be honest, the bullets, you know, I'll be able to sell these for a bit of a premium. That's different because they're a little bit trendy and fun. But all of this stuff here, it's really the same thing. It doesn't matter if it's a, you know, I'm going to get a premium if I take my time with this stuff a little bit. But ultimately, if I need to move it quicker, if I'm just say I'm done with it, I'm going to retire, I want to cash this all in, so I've got a nice big nest egg of cash that I can spend to live my life on an island or whatever I want to do. This is all that same kind of idea. Now, I have emotional attachment to other things, like this stuff here. Mr. Zeke, wonderful, wonderful guy we know out there, and Vessel, and we've got the bear, and I've got a whole bunch of different here, and I don't want to in a pit, and these are just some that I grabbed out of my community box off my desk, and you know, and this is from Tomoko, of course. He's not doing these anymore. These are going to be me and Beaver Bullion doing these, so stay tuned for that. But the poured silver, this stuff here really is a lifelong keeping investment. Unless I have to because I'm starving and living, you know, I'm going to end up not being able to, you know, be kicked out living on the street, and, you know, hopefully I'm making better choices. But this stuff is, I just want to have with me my whole life because there's meaning behind it. You know, when Vessel did his first pours and he got this done for me, I got my number 8, and he appreciates that because he has his number that he likes all the time. You know, Dean, this was really when we first started talking. The bear, my first piece from the bear early on when I was doing my channel there. And Mr. Zeke, of course, such an inspiration to so many people out there. Wonderful guy, and best wishes, Mr. Zeke. Hope you're doing well. And despite me not being in contact as often due to my personal life right now and choices, I am watching. I miss you guys. But and Pitt here, my buddy Pitt Bullion, you know, wonderful piece. I've got a few of his, and these are all my community stack in my box that really won't go anywhere unless I get to that point where even these guys would appreciate that. You know, if there's a health thing, concern, or a major point in my life where I would need to do that, you know, I think even these guys would understand why if I had to turn this stuff over and make some profit on it. But this really is a personal thing. The collector in me, it has that personal attachment, just like people who, you know, maybe they keep the card from their grandma, or the letter from them from overseas, or that, you know, that special, that beer mug that you got with your buddies on that one trip and things like that. I am sentimental. I do like having things that make me think and remember memories, and there's a lot of reasons in my personal life for that. But that's what poured silver like this is. It really creates a personal attachment, and it's a lot of fun to go out and buy those items and add those to my stack. So a lot of fun there, but a totally different purpose than this here. Then we get into numismatics. Now numismatics, you know, some people love them, some people hate them, and I'm just going to be quite honest with it. I'm right on the fence with it. It really depends on what it is, and I have come to a decision, and like, I buy only beautiful numismatics, ones that I truly love. So let's highlight some feline mint ones here. There's a Canada 150 one there, and sweet pieces that that Feli makes, and then there's their antique one there, and they've got their their new design for 2019 they want people to do. So we want to get that in there in 2018, 2019. It's on social media, but you can enter your designs in and vote for the new design of the succubus, which is going to be pretty exciting. So it'll be the 3rd design. But numismatics like this, I buy these still, they meet, you know, they're from my friends. They're beautiful pieces, but I'm only going to buy a numismatic if it's truly beautiful, because a lot of times the value, the money that goes into buying a numismatic, Royal Canadian Mint, unfortunately, is one of those notorious ones for kind of overproducing. And this isn't, I mean, there's some colored coins. We know they've got the colored coins, the ones with the glass pieces on them, all sorts of fancy ones out there, that people love them. So if you love it, me, you know, there's pieces here that I truly love, then buy them. go ahead. You're adding silver to your stack. Sure, you're going to pay a premium. And the reality is, a lot of times you're not going to get that premium back on numismatics, because there is a collectible value to it. I kind of think of it like jewelry. Jewelry, like, not in the sense that the jewelry private market, it's different that way. But if you took a necklace and you needed that money right away, and you said, here you go, they're only giving you the value of the weight of that, generally, maybe more. I mean, it does depend on the situation. But that's kind of how I look at this. If I buy these pieces and the premiums that I spend on them, I generally, I'm okay with the fact that I'm going to lose those premiums. But this is the collector in me. This is the person who loves to find really cool and unique pieces. They do have a personal meaning to me. They do speak to me for some reason. And I don't care about that extra that I've spent on it then. And I encourage you, if you've got that disposable income, you can do that. Make it back on other things. Make it back by flipping it privately, maybe. And you can do that with some pieces. Like this one holds a good value, so that's, fortunate there. This one here, it's going to hold the silver weight value, really. And if you sell it on the private market, you might get, the retail in the right way. But generally, anything like these, you're going to be, the loss on those types of numismatics is going to be there. Unless you get them at a wonderful price on an auction or a deal. My buddy grabbed a huge lot of silver off of the Home Shopping Network. It was a really cool lot of silver. He spent a few $100 on it, and the value of what he got there was easily that. It was just fantastic. The silver weight value and the coin weight value was close to that. So it shows you that those deals really are out there. And then to speak to some of my own country stuff and get into some of these here, I'm not going to go through everything. I'll do a quick scan here, but maybe I'll do a stack visit at some point. But these are maples. But these are maples with privies on them. So Canadian maples, I'm Canadian. They're important for me to have, I believe. And the maple is a worldwide recognized coin, so this is a very good investment to have, like an eagle or even in my opinion these, because of the security on them. But around the world, these are highly recognized along with eagles and things like that. So, and Britannias. So the idea is that I've got a maple, but I buy them with the privy as long as I can get them for a decent price over spot. It just makes it a little bit more interesting. There's the panda ones, that's the monkey, and so on. So we've got a bunch of different privy ones here. These are I think these are just the bullion ones with the but they're I think that that Thunderbird one being the bullion coin is fine. I've got some other ones here that are bullion coins, and Superman one. I love Superman, so yeah, I'm nerd that way. And then just the standard bullion ones. They're not really. I keep them in the capsules to try and keep the milk spots off them. That's really all I'm doing with that. I've got one from. This is one I have a lot of stuff of this the year my son was born. So any piece that I pick up that has that date, something like this really isn't going to be for me. I pick it up, and a lot of times just by circumstance it comes in that way, and I put it aside because that's me building a stack for him for when he's ready to start looking into things like that too, right? This one's cool. Look at the toning on this sucker. That's fun. It's all rainbowed up. Beautiful. 2001? 2008? I can't even see that. 2003. But yeah, they cool pieces, but again, really, primarily, this is bullion. I am buying these pieces, and these pieces, so that I can invest them later for retirement, or if a situation comes along like I recently had, I can take some of the weight value of things that I've paid a lower premium on and use that to maintain my life and not, and be able to sleep at night and know that my bills are paid and nobody's chasing after me and stuff. So recently a lot of job situations have caused me to be out of work for a little while. The home business is good, but I am, there's a lot out there, a lot of competition, and I'm just a little Canadian guy here. So there was a point where I wasn't working for quite some time. There's been a lot of stuff going on in my personal life before that as well, and I really had to hunker down and decide what I wanted to do. I do have a habit of liking to spend money if I'm having a bad day, a bit of retail therapy, so to speak, or going out and finding things that are different that make me happy. So this is a great outlet for me to do that, which in turn, even if I've paid a premium for something like, well, this is numismatic, you know, that's later on the list of wanting to sell. But if I go out and buy, you know, I buy one of these, and then I buy one of these, I buy, you know, two of these, and then I buy some of the maples or something, and I'm buying those along the way, it's fun. I've collected things, it's something different to look at, I can show it on the channel and talk about it and why. But then when it comes down to it, I can cash that in at my local coin shop, my jeweler, or whoever does the transactions that way, and I have that cash flow back in hand, and I've got the security because I hold it, I own it, and I'm in control of my life. And I think that's very important to remember, is that that's a big part of what this is for, is to create a good lifestyle later when we need it, when it comes time to cash it in. And I don't worry about the market price. I really don't. You know, if I make money off it, fantastic. If I lose, that's what comes along with doing this. But I guarantee you, if I just went around with that money accessible on my little debit card all the time, could swipe it, I'd have a lot more of this money just gone, and I'd never see it again. And instead, I've had a great experience picking up items while building wealth, while stacking for my future. And of course, along the way, how to pick up some little bits of gold here and there as I can, usually by flipping things, and I win them in raffles. I actually just won a gold Scotia bar in a raffle. I will show you that when that comes in next week. But that is great, and to add a little bit of this as well, and I just grabbed this to show on the channel here. My gold is somewhere else. And you can always go back and see in the videos some of the recent ones if you want to just search the gold there. But you know, this is important because gold has a different stigma about it, a different approach and a different look. And you know, you put this up in a social group or something like that, and quickly people will give you a good value for this. And a lot of times you don't even have to leave your house. And I did that. I was in that bad spot. I put out some messages. I shared some of the items that I had that I was willing to get rid of. A lot of them were the generic 1 ounce rounds that I tend to pick up. The ones that are fun, they're different. But they're just trade dollars and things like that. So, but you know, when I sold off some trade, like very generic silver, and then that way, oh, here's some right here. So stuff like this, I can get it out of here. Simple trade dollars, things like this that I've picked up that are a little bit different, that I only have 1 or 2 of. These happen to be almost the same, the first ones I grabbed. But Liberty Bell one there. And you know, some simple, different, they're all different thicknesses and sizes, and they're cool. But then you put this up on a group, and people will offer you good value for it, and then all of a sudden you've paid for your vet bill, your dog is better, or everything's all fixed up, and you feel good. You can put food in your belly, you paid your bills, and you're not getting your hydro shut off or anything. And then at the end of the day, you look back and you go, you know what? I still have a lot that I can lean back on if it really comes down to it. And you've got that security there that you've built that wealth over time. Just some silver dollars here, Canadian silver dollars. So these are some 90% silvers, or 80%, sorry, for Canada, 90% US ones. I just grabbed this to kind of show and kind of speak to this as well, because a lot of us like decimal or constitutional silver in our stacks as well. And you know, this stuff moves differently than this kind of stuff here. You know, your melt value that you'll get on this is a little bit different. Private market, depends if people are looking for this. I call this my zombie apocalypse silver. The idea is that it's most recognizable. People understand what this is, and they have for a long time. But as the generations move on, and different people, you know, are gone sadly, and new people are growing up, this type of thing has less and less meaning to whether or not it will have value later on, or if it is recognizable. Now, you know, the silver dollars may be a little bit different, but you know, half dollars, quarters, and a lot of people don't even know that there's real silver in this stuff, right? We all know that. I think that that's the general consensus in the community. But it's still good to add this to the stack if you can get it at a good price. It adds some diversity, but it had some fun with this. A lot of these were antique market, private buys, things like that, where I went out for the day and I found a nice little coffee shop, and I had lunch with my friends, and yeah, so it creates some good experiences, some good memories, and sometimes some sad memories, I guess, to look back on. And you try to look at life and try and learn from those experiences, and you have fun with it. This one here was my first Toronto Coin Expo. These ones I picked up. I actually picked them up from a guy who's not very nice to me. I don't know how to say why it is. I'd say 95% of people are. He's just old and grumpy and doesn't like me for some reason. But there's some memory and some thought behind this, and I'll have that in my stack to talk about later on. So, and I hope that quite a little longer video here for sure. But I really wanted to speak to a lot of value rather than just presenting a bunch of silver and saying, here guys, look, there's hundreds of ounces of silver here in front of us, plus other stuff in my stack, my gold stack elsewhere, and my private beautiful community poured silver that I try to add to as often as possible. There's a reality that I know that I don't want to ever sell these pieces, so I try to pick up a few pieces from each, and then I slow down a bit because I got to be a little bit careful, make sure that I don't end up having to go into this. It's making those smart choices. So as the cash flow is building again, guess what I'm going to do? I've added some of this generic stuff for the safety net to catch me if something goes wrong. And I can cash that in, and I'm good, and the bills are paid, and food in my belly, my son's good, dog's fed, all the great things that can be. And then I can start buying more of this to have some fun with it, and going out on the hunts and doing some more silver hunt Sundays, because I'm a little slow on those right now for lots of reasons, all right? So buy your numismatics if you love them. It's okay. Don't let anybody put them down. Buy beautiful coins. Spend whatever you want on the bloody things, because that's what you want to do, as long as you're not spending cash flow you need for bills and things like that. But try not to buy, the majority of your stuff and things like this, because you're going to lose your value on it. And careful you buy the right things, you can do it. But that's the fun side of things, and you need to have fun with it. Don't lose the fun. Make sure you have the safety net stuff that you can cash in, that you don't care what happens with it. But, have some of the stuff that might hold a little bit more of a premium too. But just go in there and go out and buy those pieces, because later on, it can still be this is stuff that you had some fun picking up along the way. You're going to lose a bit of a premium on them, but at the same time, wow, what a great way to invest and have some fun with it at the same time. And I'm speaking to those people that maybe have a hard time controlling that debit card or their credit card, right? Because I'm kind of like that. It helps me invest, but at the same time, I'm having a great time while doing it. And I think that your world silver, your maples, your kooks and stuff like that, it's the same thing. Try to keep your premiums low on everything across the board. Of course you want to do that, but have fun doing it, and have an exit plan and an idea of what you're going to do, and try and save it as long as you can. But really, if you're not having fun while you're doing this, and you're not putting money away, and you don't feel good about what you're doing, don't put down the people that are doing it. Don't slam it as a bad idea, as a scam or anything like that, because it is not at all. Compare it to putting money under your mattress 20 years ago, what that value buying power would have now versus then, versus the same amount of silver that you would have been able to buy back then with that amount of money. The buying power, and I should say precious metals, because gold as well. Again, the focusing on silver is because the common man can buy an ounce of this a week generally, if you really wanted to, or at least a month, if you focus on it. And that can really start building wealth, and all of a sudden, boom, you look back and you're like, wow, look at this, I'll be good for a long time if it comes down to it. And have that safety net, be able to look after your family, and have fun while doing it. Control your spending habits with something like this, if that's what you need to do. But yeah, if you have any ideas on stacking and what you might want to do with it, and what your purpose is behind it, put that down below. This is a video that really I want to create some dialogue and get some people talking. And then if you did see anything in here that you want me to showcase or talk about more, or maybe you want me to dive into a bit and go through, let me know. And thanks for hanging out today, everybody. Smash that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon.